Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do K episode 11 review. Correction, K the anime episode 11 review. Now, before I get started, of course, look down in the description below for the link to this week's episode of K. Now, that being said, that being said, this week's episode of K. Yo. This week was a great episode of K. Straight up a great episode of K. Listen. Not only was there multiple confrontations, multiple outstanding confrontations. We have a confrontation between the first main blow one was between the actual factions themselves, Scepter 4 and Homra, and then came the confrontation between Yata and Awashima, then Yata and Fushimi, then Mikoto and Kuro, then Mikoto and Munakata, and then on top of all of this shit, we have the Colorless King doing his thing, controlling people, manipulating people to get what he wants. And I'm not too sure, but the person on top of the roof, this person looks exactly, well, not exactly, but very similar to Mishina, who was one of the high school kids. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if Mishina is in fact the Colorless King. I don't know. I believe that his uniform was different, but I don't know. But it looks very similar to Mishina, very similar. So, but I could be wrong. I mean, maybe the Colorless King is in fact the fox itself, but I'm not too sure. But either way, so we have the fox, the Colorless King, taking control of all these people, and then on top of that, oh man, the finale. The ending of this week's episode. Adolf K. Weissman, a.k.a. Shiro. Whoa. I mean, whoa. For those of you guys, because I know that there were a few people who actually said this, but for those of you guys who called it, who stated that Shiro is in fact the Silver King Adolf K. Weissman, good on you. You guys were 100% correct. Absolutely right. Shiro is the Silver King. Now, I'm not too sure if he's the original Silver King. Was he a clone? Because the guy beforehand, the guy we saw who actually died in the blimp, pressed the button, was he a clone? Or was he in fact, like let's say, was he being controlled by the Colorless King? Because the Colorless King said that beforehand he had controlled Shiro, which is actually that's probably the reason why he killed Totsuka, because he was being controlled. He was being controlled by the freaking Colorless King, but he in fact did not do so because he is the Silver King, and I guess in a way he kind of like had like a memory lapse to block it all out. I mean, either he had anesthesia, yeah, because not only was his memory altered by Neko, but also he had amnesia beforehand, and that amnesia may have occurred because of the death of Totsuka, or beforehand when that guy kicked him. After that, when the guy kicked him off the blimp, which may have been the Colorless King controlling the person who claimed, or the person who was thought to be Adolf K. Weissman, but in fact it was Shiro who was Adolf. It's a weird freaking circle that I don't understand yet. I mean, when you take a look at the preview of next week's episode, it appears that all this stuff is gonna be actually, brought to light, because we still don't know exactly what's going on yet when it comes to the Silver King and the Colorless King and the memory loss and the anesthesia and the guy on the blimp. So we still don't know how all these things tie together, but they do. And when it's gonna be revealed, it's gonna make so much fucking sense, because right now it's crazy shit. Right now it really truly is crazy shit. The reveal that Shiro was in fact Adolf K. Weissman, the first king, the Silver King. Very nice. Very nice. And like, you see his sword, and his sword, not only the actual foundation of the sword is silver, but then we actually see the colored gems of like each of the other kings. Like, we see a blue gem, a red gem, a gold gem. I believe we also saw like a white gem and like a green gem. So again, people, where the fuck are the green guys? Like, where are they? Seriously, this is getting my fucking nerves. Like, where are they hiding? Shit. Where's the Green Klansman? Fuck. But what I will say was that, again, it was very well done, very good. So the rating, once again, is gonna be great. The pacing was good. The pacing was phenomenal. The actual story progression was there. It was super oh my god. Adolf K. Weissman, the Silver King, the first king. Shit. That was good. Oh man, that was fucking crazy, man. I love that. Like, that beacon of silver light, and then like the way it kind of unraveled itself and then came down simultaneously, and then we see the actual silver sword of Democles being revealed. That was so fucking beautiful, man. Yo, that was fucking beautiful. Round of applause. This shit is awesome. And so let me get onto the actual other stuff that happened before the reveal of the Silver King. And then and after that, I'm gonna call it a chapter review. I mean, an episode review. First of all right? Yeah. No blood, no bone, no eyes. No blood, no bone, no eyes. Like, fucking seriously, man. No blood, no bone, no. Like, just like, they're like, yeah. And we had Homra. And then we had, of course, fucking Scepter 4. Bato. And when it came to Fushimi, like, this nigga stalled for the fucking longest. It was like, Fushimi, yeah, Bato. I'm like, damn, like, he was ecstatic. Well, not really ecstatic, but he was like you could see that he was very pleased. He's very pleased that there is combat. He has a lot of bloodlust. He likes fighting. He loves fighting. And that was pretty cool. And then so we see a confrontation. We see actual fighting, combat, going between Scepter 4 and Homra. But it wasn't a lot, because the entire time we actually see like these explosions occur. That, you know, kind of like lead you to believe that there was actual more fighting occurring. But we had Scepter 4 and Homra being like, what's going on? Like, these explosions aren't us. Like, they're not us. So, like, what's going on? And, like, even beforehand, but before the credits, we see an explosion occur in the island. And this lets us know that, well, hey. Well, no, correction, no. I'm sorry, my bad. The explosion before is what signaled Scepter 4 and Munakata to actually go inside the island and actually, you know, start a war or a battle with Homra, because this let Munakata believe that this explosion occurred because of someone from Homra or Mikoto himself. So clearly there was something going on here. And in fact, beforehand, we actually see Mikoto leave. Mikoto leaves his actual, like, you know, room and shit, because he started to remember what Munakata was saying about passing on his kingship to someone else. And then he puts his shoulder on Kusanagi, then leaves. So this lets me know maybe that Mikoto is considering giving his powers away to Kusanagi once he has reached his limit, once he's reached the brink. And after that, we see, you know, the fighting between Homra and Scepter 4. We see the explosions. And then we see multiple confrontations between multiple characters. And I like that. That was really good. First of all, we see, and apparently, by the way, the explosions were set up pre-hand by the Colorless King, who was there beforehand. So the Colorless King set this shit up before. So the first confrontation is between, well, there was a scene here between Munakata, and Munakata actually saves this one person of Team Homra who was about to be crushed by these boulders by performing like these weird blue transparent discs and walking on top of them, and then doing one above his head to stop the boulders, but the debris from the explosion. But then the guy stabs him in the actual like abdomen somewhere, and then Munakata looks down, like kind of like unfazed, and then he says, "So it's you." So Munakata actually has a fairly good idea of the situation at hand. I'm pretty sure that he knows that the Colorless King can actually control people by using this weird fox image. Actually, so does Mikoto. But Mikoto, he believes that it was Shiro who is, in fact, the Colorless King. But the problem here is that Munakata, he met Shiro beforehand. And I believe that he already knew that Shiro wasn't the Colorless King. Shiro was someone else, but not the full-blown Colorless King. Which is why Munakata fought against Mikoto. And he kind of led Mikoto away from the area, which was the last confrontation. But the first one, I believe, was it was Yata against Awashima, and Yata was pretty damn cool. He was using his red fire to like blitz around and shit, you know, like boom, 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 boom with his skateboard. That's number one. Number two was when Yata goes up against and because like what happened was that Yata was gonna initiate the finishing blow against Awashima, but gets cut off by Fushimi. And then Fushimi and Yata were going to engage in combat. You know, Fushimi cut him off. Misaki monkey. You know, so it was good. But the problem was that we didn't get to see the fight between Fushimi and Yata. That was cut off because of the whole entire Silver Pillar of Light thing. That's number two. Number three was when we see a fight between Mikoto and Kuro. And Mikoto was winning easy. Kuro was good. He's very good. He is above most of the regular clansmen. But he's not king level. No. Mikoto, this guy, he loves using that fire tornado. Just, yeah, fire tornado, man. And then at some point, actually made like a miniature sun. And it was actually expanding. And we see, like, Kuro use like his hand thing in order to try and stop it, but it wasn't working. But actually, at some point, it gets nerfed out. It gets completely nerfed out by Munakata, who actually was like, he's still wounded from the stab, but he's actually he's fairly fine. And then Munakata engaged in combat with Mikoto and actually drags him away from the area, which I believe was an intended move to get Mikoto away from the area, so things could resolve themselves, I guess, in a sense. Because he knew that if Mikoto had stayed there and actually like done his thing, then shit would have gone, you know, awry. And then we see a few scenes here where some guy is like riding an explosion, and he moves towards Kukuri, who was kind of like standing there in an open area. But actually, in that small time frame, the person who was riding the explosion, who looks very similar to what was his name? His name was Mishina. Well, the thing here is that in that small time frame, this person who either is the the Colorless King, or was being controlled by the Colorless King, actually transfers the Fox Demon from his own mind to Kukuri. So Kukuri the entire time is being controlled by the Colorless King. At the same time, we see other scenes here, we see a scene where we see all the students, they're running away from all the explosions and shit, because you know it's getting pretty hectic. We are also seeing scenes where Awashima, she's very distracted. She's wondering where the fuck Is Munakata, is he injured? Is he still wounded? Because she saw, or him, well, her and Scepter 4, they all saw Munakata being stabbed by a member of Team Homra, believing that Team Homra had actually betrayed, or not betrayed, but they had you know, pulled a dirty move in stabbing Munakata because Munakata had just saved that person. So it was very, you know, on and off, on and off. And then there was one scene where once the silver light comes out, and then we see, because Shiro, once, after the whole entire scene, what happens here is that the girl, Kukuri, she's being controlled, and then she, at some point, once they're in a safe location, it's her, it's Neko, it's Kuro, and Shiro. She actually stabbed Shiro via glass shard. And then we see the fox come out of her mind, or come out of her eye, and then starts to invade Shiro's mind. But Shiro, at some point, actually gets, like, spurred. He gets, like, spurred or motivated by Neko, who's crying out to him. And then the fox leaves his mind, goes back to Kukuri. Kukuri, being controlled by the Colorless King, runs away. And then what's happening here is that all of a sudden, Shiro goes into, like, he goes into, like, a, I guess you would call it a, like a phase, or like he starts seeing shit, basically, right? Like images, hallucinations. He passes out, has like a dream of some sorts, of like the past, of Adolf K. Weissman's past. And then all of a sudden he starts to glow. He gets up, and then bam, pillar of light, silver sword, and then he starts speaking in German to Kuro and Neko. And then he states, and then Kuro's like, so you in fact were the Colorless King. And he's like, no, I am the first king. I am the Silver King, Adolf K. Weissman. So I was like, yeah, like, so right there, yeah, that was good. That was good. That was very well done. Very well done. Episode overall rating is going to be great. I loved it. It was good. When it came to pacing was great. Story progression was great. The character conflict, it wasn't really there because, again, the fight between Awashima and Yada was pretty damn short, and then Fushimi and Yada was kind of cut off. But the one between Mikoto and Kuro, that was good. That was good. And then the one between Mikoto and Munakata, that was cut off, and then we didn't get to see most of it. So, you know, that was meh. But still, overall rating is going to be great, and I'll see you guys later. Be sure to, of course, rate, comment, and subscribe as always. And I'm signing out, and I'm done. Peace. Have a nice day.